Thank you very much, and it's great to be back here in South Australia. And boy, a lot's changed in the macro copper landscape in the last few weeks. It's been an interesting ride for us. But what I really want to take you through today is, some of our views on the macro thematics of what's going on at the moment, and why we think we're really well positioned to rebound, and take you through what we've been doing on site with the project, because this is developing into an extremely world-class copper play. So as Nick just mentioned in the introduction, our key asset is the Green Bay Copper Gold Project, and that's located in Newfoundland in Canada. It's a high-grade copper and gold deposit. So, it's not a zinc ore body pretending to be a copper ore body. It is purely copper and gold, and it is very, very high grade compared to other projects that are out there at the moment. We have quite a large resource, about 1.2 million tonne copper equivalent at an impressive grade of 2% copper equivalent. And when you consider that the average copper grade at the moment of mines is around 0.5%, we're over 4 times higher than the average grade of a copper mine. Lots of sunk infrastructure in place already that we can take advantage of to move this forward, and a lot of growth potential, and you'll get a flavour for that as we move forward in this presentation. We've had this asset since October 2023, and it has been an amazing journey for us. Our team in Canada has come together extremely well, and we have been delivering a lot of results. We work hard, we have a lot of drill rigs in place, and we have absolutely transformed this project. So we initially started off with 1 rig. We've now ramped up to 6 rigs on site, and for us there's a direct correlation between adding value and the amount of drilling and the results. You don't drill, you don't find. So, adding value through growing this ore body and expanding it is a key part of what we do, and we've done that very successfully. We've tied up more exploration ground because we believe we're in an entire camp. We're not just in a single deposit mineral district. These VMS deposits, they occur in clusters. So we have a high conviction that we're going to find more and more copper away from the main mine. Not only have we been extending the ore body and growing it, we've also been delivering substantial growth in our resource. In our first year, we added 20 million tonnes at 2% copper, which is huge. So our current resource is around 60 million tonnes at the 2% mark, which is starting to become very, very much a world-class asset. We've listed on the TSX as well as the ASX, and just keep delivering. Share price growth was on a very good trajectory. And then our friend in Canada decided to put his tariffs in. And one of my mentors, who I really respect, told me that there's opportunity in chaos. Nothing has changed with our project. I just got back from site on Friday. If anything, what I'm seeing is better, right? And this is where the opportunity lies. And, things are so uncertain at the moment. I saw this morning, obviously Mr. Trump's decided to put a pause on tariffs, and we're up 15% already at market open. So there is an opportunity to people to buy this dip and make money. And the thing that I can assure you is our project is getting better and better. Part of the reasons that we're quite comfortable at the moment with what's going on is that our concentrate that we'll produce can go anywhere in the world. In fact, if I was a betting man, there is no way we'll be sending it to the United States. So whatever Trump does with tariffs doesn't really impact what we're going to sell. We're still getting great offers from Europe. We're getting great offers from Asia. China is buying copper now because they still haven't got enough to keep their smelters going. So the short-term volatility is there, but medium to long-term, the thematic for copper is still very, very, very strong. I've been to Canada twice this year. The other point I would make is this whole interaction with Trump and the US is galvanising Canada. They're undergoing an election campaign at the moment as well, and the mood on the ground has changed. They want to insulate their economy against America now. They've really turned against it, to the point where I went to a basketball game a few weeks ago in Toronto and watched the Raptors play, and the most polite nation on earth, Canada, was booing the American national anthem. They have absolutely united, and their solution is to build these projects to develop their resources to keep Canada insulated from the macroeconomic things. So we're seeing already both parties have committed to get rid of the federal permitting process, to streamline processes, to develop their assets. And we will benefit from that. There is no doubt about it. The other point I'd make about one of the benefits we have is we are genuinely a copper and gold deposit. In our resource, there's already 550,000 ounces of gold. Gold is on a tear. It's over $3,000 an ounce US. And there are gold-rich parts of our ore body, and we will continue to grow it. So this dip here, in my view, is an opportunity. And what I'm going to show you now are the main reasons why I think that we will come back strong. Compared to a lot of other companies, we will bounce hard and we will bounce up very quickly. We'll be at the front of the queue because there is nothing like our deposit on the ASX. What we have here, the benefits and why we've got there. We've got the ingredients of a mine already in place. It takes over 17 years to get a copper mine up and running. We can do it in like 20% or less of that time because we already have the fundamental things in place for a great copper mine. Our mineral deposit, the resource that underpins everything, is world class. It is still open, it is still growing. We're doubling down, we're drilling hard, even in these uncertain times, and this thing is growing. It's currently nearly 60 million tonnes at 2% copper, and it's open. All the drilling we're doing is confirming that. So what we have is underpinned by a world-class resource. We already have surface infrastructure in place that gives us a huge head start. And this is money that we don't have to spend. This is money that, this is time that we don't have to take to build the infrastructure to support a large-scale mine. We have workshops, we have power, we have offices, we have hydropower running through this property to power any future mill. And I tell you what, it's less than half of the power cost in Western Australia at the moment. It's hydro, it's green. And we are blessed with great surface infrastructure to get the mine up and going again. We already have underground access. This was mined up until 2023. Our ore body starts 200 metres below the surface, and we can already drive down more than 900 metres below surface to drill this thing out. So we've got over 20 kilometres of development already in place to access this ore body immediately. So that gives us a massive head start in terms of the time and the cost to get this mine into production. It is already a mine, all right? It is waiting to be restarted. Processing-wise, we've got a small mill there, and that's part of the reason that we saw this opportunity, because the mill was only 500,000 tonnes per annum. Put it into context, now that our ore body is now, or our resource is 60 million tonnes, it would take 120 years to process it through what was there. Like, who wants to be mining in 120 years? We see there is an opportunity here for a much larger mill, much better economics, and to produce well over 50,000 tonnes of copper a year. So we think we've got a serious project on our hands. It is very simple processing. It's a clean ore body. It's all chalcopyrite. There is no challenges with the metallurgy. It's just conventional and very, very high recoveries. And, we've already got a team in place looking at designing processing plants for us. And then the concentrate export. Boy, oh boy, we've got Mike Naylor here today as well, and he's been heavily involved in fending off all the interest that we've been getting from offtake people, because this is a high-quality concentrate, no deleterious elements. It's a dream come true for any of these smelters, and we are getting some amazing terms and conditions and offtake offers to build this thing in partnership in order to secure this concentrate. So we have what's in place for a world-class mine. We're already there. This is part of the reason that we're going to bounce very quickly from the volatility in the market. But wait, there's more. That is the mine that we have at the moment. But what we haven't mentioned yet is the regional exploration potential. We have been slowly in the background building our land position. Why are we doing that? Because VMSs don't occur as single deposits. They occur as clusters. And there is enough evidence in this part of the world that there are other deposits there, and we are going to make discoveries, right? So on top of our 60 million tonne resource, which is open, which we're extending at the moment with the drill rig, we can make other discoveries in this district. The Ming mine is just one of 6 or 7 historic mines that we now have on our ground. And that was mined from the 1970s through 1980s and then more recently in the 2000s. Only 3 kilometres away we have Rambler Main Mine. That was mined in the late 1960s to early 1970s. The same with the Rambler East Mine. And they were only mined to between 200 and 300 metres below surface. Now, we've gone and done a lot of work compiling historical data, and we are finding hits in that database that are just spectacular. Rambler Main Mine, for example, it's more of a gold-rich system, part of the same VMS, but the gold to copper ratios are flipped. 25 metres at 5 grams gold and 0.3% copper. 4.7 metres at 12.9 grams gold and 0.5. 10 metres at 7.5 grams gold and 0.6 copper, all unmined. The rig is there now drilling, and we're going to get some results on that within the next quarter. So there'll be some really strong news flow coming out on these exploration hits. We've also got other mines around there that need to be followed up. We've got a 10,000 metre exploration campaign underway on surface. Further afield, 20 kilometres away, we're getting 27 gram rock chips on surface sitting there that indicate more VMSs in this system. So we know we're going to find more and more. Our satellite deposit at Little Deer, there is 46 metres at 2.5% copper there, unmined, right? That was last mined in the 1970s, 1972. It's before a lot of people in this room were born. It was the last time that it was mined and there was any serious work done there. So we will grow this into a camp, a hub and spoke model. There are a lot of deposits out there. Just in terms of the capital structure and where we sit, really well supported. We are very fortunate to be well funded and have cash in the bank. No one wants to be raising at this share price, and we are insulated against that with the amount of cash we have. At the end of December, it was about 84 million, so we are funded to keep going with our programs. We still have a very strong institutional backing at 61% of the register. Just show you this little video to show you what Newfoundland's like. It's a great part of the world. Show you the operation and see what we where we're operating. So that gives you a bit of a feel for where we're at. One of the other things that we've done since we've had this asset is we've got access to a port that's only 6 kilometres away. So that also gives us an advantage to export this concentrate externally. We have very strong government support from the Premier of the province all the way down, and people want to see this mine built. As I said, very well serviced, 365-day-a-year access. In terms of our drill results, these aren't historical results. These are actually results that we've drilled in the last year and a half. And what you can see here, 2 styles of mineralisation. One is a high-grade VMS, and you can see those results there highlighted. That is truly world-class. That is DeGrussa-like, except the difference with DeGrussa is they never found anything else. And what we have underneath it is a broad footwall zone that has high-grade copper, which is amenable to bulk mining. 86 metres at 3.7% copper. That's one that we've drilled recently, and it's the best hit in the deposit. It is getting better as we go deeper. The thing to impress on people with this deposit is the scale. We have over 2 kilometres of strike now, and this thing is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The grades at depth are getting better. and the economics of this project are improving substantially. And this is the plan. This is the investment. We have a 7th drill rig coming in May. So we are going to continue to grow this and make it a very large-scale deposit. We have a number of tools at our disposal to make it work. EM downhole shows up this ore body, and what that's showing us is the ore body is continuing beyond the scope of our drilling. So just to wrap it up, these are the 5 things that we're really focused on in the year, and this is what we're going to do to add value to our shareholders. Going to continue with the resource growth. We're going to upgrade the resource. We're going to make new discoveries, which we're well on the way to. Watch this space. There'll be results coming out this quarter. Demonstrate the global scale and really leverage this Tier 1 jurisdiction that we're operating in. So look, Mike and I will be over at the booth. If anyone else has any further questions and wants to look at anything in more detail, please feel free to come over and see us, and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.